So now we have our midriff front, which is pattern number 4, and this is our skirt front, which is pattern number 5. So we are going to use, one should be interfaced and the other one should be no interfacing. So we're going to put the no interfacing to the side, and we are going to be using these two. So there are 2 dots. You can't really see it on mine. I'm going to mark it for you. If I can find me a pencil, Kizzy, what you talking about? If I can find something to write with, then I can mark it for you. Like I said, I usually use a marker. This side has a dot, one here, and the other one is right here, actually, something like that. It has a dot, so the side without the dot is what we're going to be placing right sides with our skirt. So that's the top of our skirt here, and we're gonna get our midriff, and we're gonna do right sides together, dot away. The dots are going to be away from the stitching. So right sides together, we're gonna do a 5/8 stitch all the way across. So right now I am pinning my midriff to my skirt front. You should have notches that should be matching up. And remember, those dots that are on your midriff should be away from these skirts. I'm gonna show you guys. The pattern looks a little funny when the illustration, it looks funny. I'm gonna show you. They showed it to you guys on the wrong side. So it should be like so. The 2 dots are up here, right sides together, pinned, and we're going to take it to the machine and stitch at a 5/8. I'm going to be busting. Ooh, guys, that's so cute. So cute. Kizzy Soriano, Kizzy Balenciaga. Yeah. So cute. Alrighty, guys. After you have attached the midriff to the skirt, which is right sides together, the side without the dots, it's attached right now. Make sure to press your seam allowance up. Seam allowance towards the midriff. Nice and flat. So once we have done that, we are going to grab piece number 6. And you'll follow instructions for either view A or view B. For me, we're doing view B. So we are going to stitch center backs together down to that dot. So let's get our pieces or pattern pieces, and then we can demonstrate. Right, Kizzy? Right. So this is piece number 6. You should have 2 pieces. And this is the back of your skirt. This is the back of your skirt. You want to turn right sides together. You want to turn right sides together. Boy, Kizzy, this is a different kind of tutorial. People usually show their tutorial on the table. You showing it somewhere else. So your skirt should have some notches here. This is the top of the skirt. Match your notches up on the side. And you should have a circle or a dot right here. So I'm going to put it on the table so you can see it more clearly, what I'm talking about, and then we can go from there. So let's move some of this stuff off my lap and let's go on over to the table. So we have piece number 6, like I was saying before. This is the top of our skirt right here. And from the top of our skirt all the way down to this circle right here, we're going to do a 5/8 stitch, stopping at this circle right here. Because remember, we got not a hoochie split in the back, but we got a split in the back. So once you have done from the top to the bottom, just make sure you back stitch a couple times at this circle to reinforce so it doesn't rip or anything like that, because we gonna have a slit in the bike, okay, for the summer. For the summer. So I have stitched my back sections together, reinforcing at the dot. from top to bottom and reinforcing at that large dot. Now we are going to move on to our next section, and it is telling us for both views. Remember, I'm working on view B. This is where I need my tape measure, my ruler, something, because I am not a good measurer, guys. So I have a tape measure here, and we need to fold, press under 1/4 of upper edge of the skirt back, which is this, and press upper edge to inside fold for casing. So we're trying to make a casing for our elastic to go into. So we're going to do 1/4 inch, and I'm going to measure that. 1/4 inch. So did you guys know 1/4 inch will be from 1, 2, 3, and 4? And then you have 1/2 and then 1 inch. So we're going to measure up to right here. This is about 1/4 inch. 1/4 of an inch. And I don't like to use the tape measures. I like to use my little rulers that I have here. Right about now, here we go. I have found it. So this is 4, and I'm just gonna fold and measure right here. Voila, Kizzy, you are precise. That is 1/4 right there. So I'm just gonna take it to my pressing board, and I'm just going to press 1/4 down, and then we're going to fold over again so we can do 1 1/4 for our elastic. So I'll be back. So there is a fold line after your 1/4 inch. There is a fold line for you to fold your fabric down on. My fabric does not have a fold line because, of course, Kizzy wasn't paying attention and was being really lazy, and I did not mark my fold line. So now I have to go back and mark my fold line so I know exactly where I need to fold my fabric down to. So while you are pressing your 1/4 inch and folding, Kizzy is going to be pressing, folding, and drawing my line. So I'll be back. So I drew my fold line on. So let's get the diesel dazzling. Let's get the diesel dazzling. Let's go, Kizzy. It's kind of not liver, but whatever. So I've pressed 1/4 at the top. This is our fold line. So we are going to fold our fabric right there where the fold line is. That is going to create a casing for our elastic. So I'm just going to fold this down, and I'm going to press it. So right where the fold line is, guys, that's where you will be folding. So I'm going to fold so our elastic can fit. Mind you, I have a 1 inch elastic. So it is fitting perfect for me because I folded a little bit more than I needed to, so my 1 inch can fold. So make sure you have your measurements correct for your 1/4 at the top, and then to fold on your fold line right here so your elastic can fit. So I'm gonna fold mine and press it, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I have folded my fabric on the fold line that was marked. I'm gonna stitch and close this. We're just gonna stitch the edge of this, and we're going to get our elastic marker or elastic guide, and we're going to measure out to whatever size you cut. And we're going to cut that elastic and use it. I prefer to use a non-roll elastic because I hate when I have elastics in my garment and they just keep rolling and turning and turning. I really do hate it. So I got this from Walmart. I was about to say go to Joann's, but honey, they closed. Rest in peace, Joanne. Rest in peace. But you can grab this at Walmart, non-roll elastic, and they come in many different widths. So it's really, really sturdy. So I'm going to stitch, and then we're going to come back. So I stitched my casing, fabric down for my casing. I cut my elastic. So now I am going to grab a pin, and I'm just going to thread that through. I have a pin right here. I'm just going to grab that, and I'm going to feed it through. I can even place it on my loop turner. It is somewhere about the place here. And feed it through and make sure we don't lose it. So I'm losing everything in here. Lord, I'm feeding my elastic in. Usually I would pin my elastic to the end Right about now, Kizzy just doing whatever she wants. Yep. We're gonna feed our elastic all the way through. Mind you, it had my casing has some space, a 1/4 inch of a space in there because I'm using a smaller elastic. My elastic is 1 inch because I do not have a 1 1/4 elastic. So I'm just gonna hold the end of that, pull, 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 and you can always adjust the elastic, guys. You can cut it off if you want it tighter in the back to show your shape, to show your rolls, because honey, I got rolls too. As skinny as I look, I got me some rolls in the back. You know, when you're getting older, yep, the rolls in the back come out. Yep, yep. So I'm just gonna fix this like so. Rolls in the bag, rolls in the bag. You know, I don't know why y'all think I could beatbox, but one of these days I'm gonna show y'all. I got some skills. See? I got skills. All right. So I'm gonna hold these together with a clip so they don't run because we're gonna stitch those sides together. I'm gonna go over to the sewing machine and I'm just going to stitch here the ends and make sure they are secured so the elastic does not come out, and then we can start adding our pockets. Usually I'll take off about an inch or so of whatever elastic I put in because I like when my dress is like fitted in the back and have a lot of gathers. So I'll be stretching mine just a tad bit, maybe 1/2 inch on each side. I'm going to secure that and then bang, bang, we hot for the summer. Can you stop singing that? So the two ends of my elastic is flopping, so I'm just going to get a scissors. Like I said before, I usually take off about 1/2 inch on the sides so my dress can fit super snuggy in the back. Well, let's hope this one fits. I'm just going to trim those off. And now we're going to add pockets, guys. The fun part, our dress is coming together. So that's the elastic. Our dress is coming together. Make sure this is centered. It looks like it's centered. And then we're going to grab our pockets. And we have notches and we have circles to follow. So you should have 4 pockets, which is pattern piece number 8. You should have 4 of these. I already finished my pockets. So I'm going to make sure we grab the right ones because it be tripping sometimes. So I always make sure I have the right ones. That one go there and this one goes here. So you have 2 dots to follow. And you can put this on front way, back way. This is actually on the back part of my skirt. And we should be applying it to the front part of our skirt. So I'm just gonna put this here, move this to the side, and we're gonna get the front part of her skirt, which is the part we had with the our midriff attach, right side facing up. And we have our pockets here. That goes on this side. I wanted a different print actually to for my pockets, but I decided I wasn't going to do that. So make sure your notches and your circles are matching up on both sides. So I have a notch here and my notch is here. So we're going to place that on top of there. And voila. That's what this should be looking like once you put them on. So we are going to stitch from the top here all the way down to the bottom on both sides. So this pattern is super easy, guys. I'm just gonna pin so they can stay in place right here. And remember, we're gonna give it a straight stitch all the way down. And most of the time it wants you to stitch at a 1/4 inch away or an 1/8. Actually, I lied. It's going to be a 3/8 stitch. So I'm just going to pin or clip these in their positions. Make sure your seam allowance is up. You pressed it up, and it should be staying up when you attach your pocket. We're gonna go to the sewing machine and we're going to do a 3/8 seam allowance on each side of your pockets. If you want to attach it to the back as well, it is the same thing. Just make sure your notches and your circles are on the same level, same page, they're talking to each other, and you stitch at a 3/8. I did kind of sound a little low because of course Kizzy took off her mic and did not reattach it, but we're about to do that right now so you can hear me more clearer. So I went to the sewing machine and I attached my pockets. Right sides were attached at a 3/8 seam allowance. I'm just cutting off some of this thread that we don't need. We are then going to go to our pressing station and we are going to press our seams or 3/8 seams towards the pocket going this way. After we have pressed our seam, we're going to understitch our pocket on that seam allowance at an 1/8 of an inch. I believe it is an 1/8 of an inch. So remember, bring your pockets out, press seam allowance towards the pocket, going that way towards the pocket, and understitch at a 1/8 only. You're only understitching on your front pocket. So this is our front skirt. Attached our pockets at 3/8, press seams toward pocket, and we're going to understitch at a 1/8 seam allowance only on the front. So let's go to the pressing board and the sewing machine, and Kizzy will be right back. Okay, so I've attached the pockets to the front skirt, understitched, and now you can attach your pockets to the back skirt at the same 3/8 seam allowance, but the only thing we do not need to do is understitch. We're only understitching on the front. So let's cut this thread off because honey, we don't need it. So we are actually going to match these up. This pocket is for this side. Match your notches up right here. Notches are matched up right here. I'm going to clip those together. So you are going to be sewing through that elastic again. You know, sometimes we're sewing and like, really, am I supposed to sew through this? Yes. So match up your notches and your circles. And we're going to sew at a 3/8. 3/8. What you do to one side, you'll do to the other side here. So we're going to do that on the sewing machine. So all of our pockets have been attached. Now we are going to be pinning skirt front to back at the side seams. We're going to be matching the large dots and the small dots, and we're going to stitch side seams. So at the large dots, we're going to leave an opening because that's for our pocket, and we're going to make sure we reinforce at the dots and the upper edge. So when I'm putting my fabric on top of each other, it is going to look a little weird because remember, I cut off 1 inch, 1/2 inch on both sides of my elastic because I wanted it to be smaller. So now I have to stretch to make everything equally, fit equally. So what you're going to do, yours should be just fine. Right sides together. We're going to pin front and back. So I'm going to start right here and pin my pockets. So after we pin our pockets, we're gonna go to our machine and stitch. So I'll give you time to go ahead and pin your fabric together and we'll be back. So I have pinned the front to the back and the pockets. So you're currently looking at the back of my skirt on the wrong side. So now we're gonna go to the sewing machine and we are going to, you remember those dots that was on that top midriff? We're gonna sew from this dot. So from this dot all the way down to a dot that you have right here at the top. Once you have done so, make sure to reinforce back stitch at your circles or your dots. We're gonna go over to our pocket and we're gonna start from here all the way around at a 5/8, all the way up and over down to the end. So remember, from the dot to this dot here, reinforce. We're gonna start at 5/8 on our pocket, all the way around, up, over where this dot is, and all the way down to the end of our skirt. And we're going to do that on both sides of our skirt. You notice there is a gaping in the middle of my skirt back. Don't worry about that. You should not be doing that unless you cut a 1/2 inch off that elastic, that 1 inch off the elastic, to make it more snug in the back. So you should have no gaping. We are following exactly how it is with the instructions. So let's go and stitch. So I've completed stitching my pockets, side seams, and everything. Everything is intact. So now the next step is we are going to be clipping right below our pocket here. So you're gonna grab a scissors, a clipper, and we're just gonna give it a little cut here right to that stitch, making sure we do not cut into our stitch. Making sure we don't cut into our stitch right below the pocket, right there. Now, after you have done that, we are going to turn this over to the front of your skirt facing you. Front of your skirt facing you. And we're going to put our pocket onto the front of the skirt. And where we press that seam allowance for the midriff up, let me bring this closer. We're going to baste our pocket top onto that seam allowance, not basting our midriff. So we're going to use the seam allowance and we are going to baste this on. So I'm going to actually use a clip and clip this so you guys can see. And we're going to baste that on because we're going to attach our bodice, guys. We are going to attach our bodice to our skirt. Yep. So we're attaching pocket to midriff seam allowance that was pressed up earlier. And we're just going to baste that. You can hand baste it if you would like, or you can take it on your machine and baste it, whichever one you prefer, whichever one is easier for you. I just pinned it here. Remember, I will always have a gaping because I cut my elastic. So this is what it should be looking like, not basting the midriff. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so my pockets have been base stitched to the seam allowance. I still have my base stitchings there, so I can pull those out later or cut them. So now we need to grab our bodice. I'm going to turn this around. We are going to grab our bodice and those 2 notches that you see up top. We are going to be attaching our skirt to the bodice. So I just have to make sure I know which one is the right from which one is the wrong side. So we are going to be right sides together. I'm going to attach my midriff to the bodice. So notches are right here. You're just going to line your notches up. So your bodice front, not your lining, your bodice front is going to be facing your skirt midriff front. Mine has to be stretched because again, I made a change to my elastic. So I'm just gonna pin this on here. Make sure it is fitting, everything is matching up. We're gonna stretch this to fit. Make sure it's fitting nice and flat. And I'm pinning and I'm just sliding to the right, ain't it? Because y'all can't see nothing. All right, and I'm just going to put another clip here. So this is the bodice attached to the front of the dress. And of course, we're going to turn the skirt when it's time. I just want to make sure we attached it properly in the correct way. So it should be looking like so. These are our ties, and we should be crisscross applesauce here at the top. So now that is attached, we are going to base stitch from that dot that's here on the top of your midriff to the other dot. We're going to base stitch that. So I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and give it a base stitch. So you are hearing me different because my microphone has died. I did not charge any of them. So both of them are on the charger right now. So I sound a little low, probably not clear as how you were hearing me before, but we are going to continue with our sew along. So right now, the bodice, the lining of the bodice is facing me while your skirt is inside out. We do have one more thing to attach, which is our facing. So we are going to be attaching our facing. We're gonna match up our notches with right sides together. We're gonna do right sides together. So for me, it's gonna be a little difficult because I'm stretching and trying to pin at the same time. Because remember, I made that change. So right sides together, matching your notches. I'm just gonna stretch, 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 and I'm going to pin. So this is super thick, guys. Super, super thick. I'm just making sure I catch everybody all together. I'm stretching, notches are matching, and I'm just putting this together. You shouldn't have this difficulty doing this. Yours should be just nice and flat. You know, when people want to do extra stuff and don't want to listen to the instructions of the pattern, this is what happens. Extra work. So I'm just getting those together. All right. So now that our facing is on our bodice front here, we are going to actually give it a stitch. We're gonna stitch that between those same dots that we had before on this side. We're gonna stitch, and then we're gonna press the seam allowance going down. So stitch between those dots. They should be marked in between the dots, and then we're gonna press our seam allowance down. So I'll give you time to do that and we'll come back. Okay, so I did the facing towards the bodice. So you should be looking at your lining. If you have a different one, you would know your lining should have I understitch at the top, so you should know the difference. So now that the facing is on, I do need to fold this in half an inch, and then we are going to fold that down on itself, ½ inch, and we are going to be doing some hand stitching. We're gonna do some hand stitching the best way you can. Nobody don't like it. I sure don't, because I done graduated from that. And we're gonna do some stitching all the way across after you have did your fold ½ inch. Remember to press your seam allowance down. So we should be looking like this. This was your skirt connector with your midriff, and this is your bodice. Midriff, you should have at least 4 thickness there, and press so it can be nice and neat. So I'm gonna measure ½ inch of this from top to here, and we're gonna fold that onto our skirt. Alrighty, so I did fold over my ½ inch on my facing. Now, let me tell y'all something. For the people like me, let me let y'all look in my face. For the people like me, I'm gonna let y'all look in my face. So let me tell y'all, for the people like me who do not like to slip stitch, this my best friend right here. This right here, my best friend. Fabri-Tac is my best friend. All dresses, all makes that I have, if it says slip stitch, this is my slip stitch. So for the facing and that ½ inch and fold down and slip stitch, we are going to ½ inch fold down and glue it, okay? Kizzy is going to glue it because me, nah, sewing it with my hand. No, I not sewing anything with my hands. So we're gonna glue it. So let's go glue it. So we are going to glue this section. Yep, Kizzy gonna glue it. Mind your business. We gotta make it come down. Mind your business. Every garment that I have, if it says slip stitch, Kizzy glue it, because this Fabri-Tac glue, guys, I won't even lie to you, is my best friend. My best friend. When I tell you I glue everything, I do the opposite of everything that people tell me not to do. Yep. Now we're gonna fold that over and pretend like Kizzy done slip stitched it, okay? Mind your business. Kizzy, where did you get it? You can buy Fabri-Tac glue on Amazon. You can also, can't go to no more damn Joann's. You can also find this in Walmart. I have several different types of glues. I also have this one, fabric glue. I'm not in love with it. I prefer Fabri-Tac glue. I used this once and I wasn't so in love. But this, I have this. This is a lifesaver. Denim, lace, it holds. And it dries super clear, super clear. They have a bigger bottle than this if you're looking to get a bigger bottle. And yeah, this is my slip stitch. So I'm gonna actually take this to my ironing board and I'm gonna press it down so it can dry. Eyes be backs. So here is my pretend slip stitch with my glue. So now we have to do the sides. So the sides, and we're gonna turn that in. If you can see, let me bring this up. If you can see, they want you to slip stitch in. I'm gonna fold this over, tuck this down, and tuck it over this way here. And you're gonna slip stitch on the back waistband here. So you know what Kizzy gonna do? We gonna slip stitch glue this down. And maybe I'll come back and really actually do a slip stitch, but right now I won't be doing that on camera because I'll be cussing. So I'm just gonna do that and tag it and do the other side and come back. Okay, I have pretended slip stitch my facing, and I opened up my seams. The only thing to do right now is to hem the dress and finish off this split right here. So seeing that, let's turn the dress inside out so we can get a better view of what we are looking at. So this part is super, super easy. So my seams were pressed open from a 5/8 seam allowance. They want you to press under a quarter. I think it's a quarter. I have to take a look again at the instructions, even though Kizzy don't follow the instructions, but yeah. Make that nice and straight right there so you can see it. Usually fold and fold, fold. You can do it that way. They want you to actually fold under here and fold again. So they want you to do one fold. Sorry guys, you couldn't see. They want you to do one fold here and then do another fold like so. So you should be looking like this. So I'm actually gonna fold, press, and stitch. That is for view A, I believe. For view B, it says press under 5/8 on slit opening and then press under a quarter on edge stitch squaring. Okay, so we are going to do this. Listen, let's just do a simple way, okay? Fold, follow the seam 5/8, stitch all the way down. So you're gonna stitch on the edges all the way over and back. How about we do that, right, Kizzy? We just cutting shortcuts as we go. Kizzy, what kind of sew along is this? My goodness. Listen, just listen to me, guys. Fold over 5/8, stitch, cross over, and come all the way down. And then we're gonna hem, and that's it. Let's go do that. So I have finished the dress. I gave it a double fold. I took off about 2 inches off the bottom of the dress because I wanted it a little bit shorter, not as short as I want it to be, but it took something off. I did go ahead and finish off my split here. As you can see, I just followed the 5/8 with the seam allowance and stitch. The dress is complete, guys. The dress is complete. I'm gonna put it on my dress form so you guys can see it. So can I tell you, Penny, if you know Penny is my dress form and she is not fitting the dress, anyways, the dress fits me and that's all that matters. So this is the front of her dress. Let me back up so you guys can see the front of my dress. And this is the back. It has ties in the back. It has a crisscross strap and it has an elastic band. Like I said, the only thing that I changed to the dress is cutting off 1 inch of the elastic to make it more snug to my back. I did a 2-inch hem, double rolled, and instead of slip stitch, I glued it. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Oh, Kizzy, you look a mess. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. This is Newlook 6666, and I can't wait to wear it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to tell your auntie, your uncle, your pets, your grandma, and your mama to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.